starting lineups. First of all, the Pikeville Panthers, coached by Dave Thomas, with a record of 10-5, will be the visiting team tonight. Starting at center, number 5, Doug Powers. At forward, number 12, Scott Justice. The other forward, number 21, Eric Stepp. Starting at guard, number 20, Jay Ramsey. And at guard, number 32, John Mims. And now the home team on the scoreboard, the Paintsville Tigers, coached by Bill Mike Runyon, with a record of 13-2. Starting at forward, number 23, Josh McKenzie. At guard, number 22, Mike Short. Starting at center, number 40, J.R. Van Hoos. At guard, number 12, Todd Tackett. And at forward, number 11, Jason Conley. And the officials for our championship game from the 14th region, Von Allen and Frankie Francis.
Well, there you have the introduction of tonight's starting lineups. Both teams ready to go. So, Jim Frazier, we're ready to go also. The tip-off of tonight's championship game, the Paintsville Tigers, a team that you thought would be here. The Pikeville Panthers playing some good basketball. Their crowd excited. It should be a good championship game.
Oh, it certainly should, Keith. Both of these teams, 15th region. Pikeville comes in 10 wins, 5 losses. Paintsville 13 up and 2 down.
Well, the Paintsville Tigers will control the tip. Mike Short at the point guard.
Excuse me, Keith. Pikeville opening up man-to-man. I talked with Coach Thomas. He felt like they'd try to, well, you see the tough shot inside there. Man-to-man may be difficult for them, Keith.
What about a surprise? They played 2-3 zone most of the night last night. I bragged on the way that they really showed the intensity in it. They open up tonight man-to-man, a little something different.
Well, Coach Thomas wanted to try to match up inside, felt they could.
Doug Powers with a move inside, and Josh McKenzie is going to be called for the personal foul. You know, in looking, Jim, and a couple of us were talking about this before the game. J.R. Van Hoos listed as tall as 6'11", by many at 6'10". I honestly believe he's more around 6'8".
Certainly, Keith, the stats sometimes lie, and of course, sitting next to you, one of the fellas that was 6'10", that took care of business, Big Todd May.
He's only 6'8", too.
Okay, all right.
Trust me. That's why I say that. Well, Powers only 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Todd Tackett, McKenzie, Pikeville staying in the man-to-man, and Tackett for the 3. It's good.
Well, Todd Tackett, 18 against Whitesburg, 21 against Prestonsburg, and Drano for the 3. Paintsville also going man-to-man.
Now, the man-to-man may have been to stop that outside shot, but Todd Tackett's already got the three-pointer, and Paintsville now with the steal. McKenzie, long 3, no good. Paintsville with the putback.
Jason Conley, 6'4" junior, Keith, and one of those great role players that Paintsville has, and good weak side rebound and the bucket. Paintsville getting out of the gate, and this is perhaps Coach Thomas's biggest fear, that his team would maybe drop down heavy early.
Justice, top of the key, takes it in against Van Hoos, left it short. Van Hoos with the rebound. Now, the Pikeville Panthers have started the opposite they did last night. Todd Tackett, another 3. And the Pikeville Panthers will call for a quick timeout. It's 10-1, Paintsville on top. I got to tell you, we have a great crowd here tonight, and a very vocal crowd. The Paintsville Tigers wasting no time, Jim, jumping up 10-1. Pikeville may take a second look at the man-to-man.
Well, I think they tried to get back to the zone that last trip. It just didn't work out for them.
Powers off the baseline. A good feed that time by Scott Justice, and that's the first field goal coming at 5:48 of the first quarter.
Good job by Pikeville getting the ball inside. And now let's watch and see, Keith. They're still in the man.
Josh McKenzie tipping a rebound to himself. Puts it back up. No good. And Paintsville, Jason Conley, they are dominating the boards right now.
Sure are. Jason Conley comes from the weak side once again and puts it home, Keith.
And the man-to-man, Pikeville not doing a good job blocking off the boards. Paintsville hitting the offensive boards and making it pay off. 12-3. Powers posting. Justice, let's go with the three-pointer. No good.
How about the job Paintsville does rebounding, Keith, limiting opponents to one shot.
Josh McKenzie for three. It is good. The Paintsville Tigers on top 15-3 over the Pikeville Tigers.
Big 6'7" senior can hit it from outside. Had 31 versus Prestonsburg earlier this year when Van Hoos was out. At 25 last night.
Well, we have a foul out front whistled on short. And the Pikeville Panthers will make some substitutions at 4:43 checking into the game. Frankie Johnson, who had a big night last night. He had about 16 points, connected on 4 three-pointers. Also checking in is Josh Justice getting into the ball game. So Pikeville going with somewhat of a smaller lineup in the ball game.
Getting some quickness in. The first round they win 81-71 over Clay. Get to it in a moment.
Todd Tackett on the give and go that time.
8 points for Todd Tackett. Pikeville's really not been under duress, a lot of duress in this tournament, Keith.
Well, Paintsville, Short has just committed a second personal foul. Coming into the ball game will be Kyle Adams, who has been a starter at times this year. Short will go to the bench. Adams replaces him. 17-3. Jim, the Pikeville Panthers in danger right now of getting down to where they can't come back. Down by 14 already.
They've displayed the ability to score a lot of points, score those points in a hurry. I believe the fellas that have come into the action will set up the press, Keith. If they can convert, you'll see Pikeville go to full court pressure.
Justice with a good move down the lane. And Scott Justice gets another field goal to make 17-5.
I thought they'd go to full court pressure. Instead, they go to the zone, Keith.
Van Hoos didn't get it from the free throw line, and the Panthers get a rebound. Justice, a clear lane again. Didn't get the basket, but he did draw the foul, and it's going to be on Conley. And it looks as if, though, right now, the Pikeville Panthers, instead of shooting the three tonight, will be trying to take advantage of what seems to be a wide-open lane.
They're going to try to take the ball right at the big man and perhaps get some foul trouble. Pikeville a little deeper than Paintsville, and you see Justice at the line looking for his third point.
Missed the free throw. Panthers shot so well from the free throw line and so well from the field. 68% shooting from the field last night.
See Justice, he's going to take it down the wide open lane and can't convert. Foul on Conley.
Well, there comes the 2-3 zone that we talked about last night, and automatically it pays dividends as Paintsville has the turnover. I just don't think the man-to-man is going to work against the Paintsville Tigers. Coach Dave Thomas switching up to the 2-3 here at the 4-minute mark.
Keith, great crowd involvement that we've had throughout this tournament. And if Pikeville can make a little run at Paintsville here, I think you're going to hear this place explode.
Foul on the baseline. Almost a three-point play as Scott Justice had that one rim around and come out. He'll be back at the free throw line for a two-shot foul.
When I talked with Coach Dave Thomas, he mentioned the fact, Keith, get a look here at one of those fellas, Justice, getting into the offense. Only had 4 points last night, and they looked for a little bit more scoring from him, Keith. But
they called that foul on the floor. Justice had it rejected that time by Van Hoos. He tried the fadeaway, didn't work. Still Pikeville ball, down by 11. Well, I've got McKenzie on Powers, Jim, and Van Hoos will draw Scott Justice. Towers, he travels.
Well, Pikeville doing a good job with ball movement, but that time just didn't work out. But when I was talking with Coach Dave Thomas, he mentioned the fact that not only does Paintsville have 3 premier players, but the other guys, Mike Short, Jason Conley, can step in there and hurt you. And we've seen that here in this game so far early. Jason Conley, 6'4" junior with 2 rebound baskets.
That is a big basket for the Paintsville Tigers. Kyle Adams, who just checked into the ball game, hits a big 3-pointer, and he gets the foul, so it's a 4-point opportunity.
How about that crowd, Keith, as they are packed behind the Wayne Supply side.
I just don't see the confidence level in the Pikeville Panthers tonight like we saw last night.
No question about that. They did not get out of the gate, and Paintsville, a team that some have perhaps wondered about the killer instinct. Do they have it? We'll allude to their schedule in a little bit, but 13 wins, 2 losses. They've played 6 teams preseason, top 20, Keith, in addition to a great team from New York, and just, you know, obviously tough competition here in the Mountain Classic as well.
Kyle Adams completes a 4-point play, 21-6. Van Hoos just laying off of Scott Justice, giving him a wide open shot. Justice down the lane, rejected by Van Hoos. Adams thought about a 3, goes around his man, and he is going to be called for the offensive foul.
Tell you, if Powers doesn't take the charge there, the ball movement for Paintsville creates the easy opportunity. See there, Powers doing the good job as Adams runs over him.
The big man, Doug Powers, standing up on defense that time. We've got 2:19 to go in the first quarter. That's been all Paintsville, 21-6.
Okay, Keith, let's see in this last couple of minutes if Pikeville can make a little bit of a run, knock off something off that 15-point lead, get it back to around 9 or so.
Frankie Justice shot well from the 3-pointers. We've got a foul underneath, and it's going to be offensive against Josh Justice, trying to post under the basket. Jay Ramsey will get into the ball game along with Aaron Smallwood checking in. Back in for the Paintsville Tigers, number 41. That is Mark Grimm.
See Bill Mike Runyon there in your screen. They're going for the Hook'em Horns play. You know, it's not number 2. It was Hook'em Horns. So look for a Texas guy to make a big play here.
Van Hoos with the pass underneath, overthrown.
Well, there weren't any Texas guys, so that's the reason that one didn't work, Bill Mike.
The Tigers have cooled off a little bit, but at the same respect, the Pikeville Panthers haven't picked up their game to take advantage of it.
Trying to run some double stacks to free some guys up top, but just terrific man-to-man defense by Paintsville.
Well, another turnover by the Pikeville Panthers. Van Hoos underneath, got the easy layup.
Only 4 points for the big guy, but how about the quick look from Adams to tack it inside to Big JR.
23-6. And now another foul underneath against the Pikeville Panthers. Offensive. It's going to be on Frankie Johnson trying to post up. It's just hard to believe, Jim, at this point, that this is the same Pikeville Panther team that we saw last night. They executed so well, they just haven't came out that way in this ballgame.
And dropping back to the 2-3, Keith, and Paintsville really moving it well.
Josh McKenzie with another 3-pointer, 26-20. And Bill Mike Runyon might say one of the reasons they're not the same team is they're playing my team, the Paintsville Tigers. Powers underneath, had it rejected. Tackett all the way, didn't get the lay-in, but he did draw the foul.
Just the case of the inability to stop the tide as Paintsville comes up strong. Todd Tackett will go to the line. He's looking for his 8th point. You see the rejection there. Tough defense. And then Tackett taking it to the hole, getting the foul. Nice little tip in by JR. Left-handed there. Didn't count.
Todd Tackett with the free throw. It has been a dominating first quarter of play for the Paintsville Tigers.
Well, you know, they were preseason #1 in the state. Right now, of course, they're still top 10. I don't know if many teams could beat them the way they're playing right now.
They look quite well, I must admit.
Only 2 losses on the year, 1 to Prestonsburg and 1 to Lexington Catholic.
Justice for 3, off the rim, no good. Van Hoos on the breakaway, and Ramsey is going to be called for the foul on the floor. Jay Ramsey skied on that play, but Van Hoos gave him the head fake and avoided what could have been a hard foul, but picked up the foul anyway.
Yeah, and, you know, that was could have been a tough situation there for Jay Ramsey. He was awfully high in the air, Keith, and thank goodness he didn't get hurt going over the back of JR in that case. Good call by the officials. Officials for this game, Vaughn Allen, Frankie Francis, doing a good job.
We're going to tie up, jump ball. It's going to belong to the Pikeville Panthers. You know, Paintsville really hasn't done anything wrong in this quarter, much like the Pikeville Panthers didn't do in their game last night. They had very few mistakes. Van Hoos with 3 or 4 blocks, hasn't committed any fouls. They played good defense, good rotation on the basketball. They've shot it well from outside and passed it well on the inside.
And I'm not sure there's anything else that you do in the game of basketball.
I don't think so. Step down the lane, no good, got it back, missed it again. When it's going bad, it's going bad. And right now, it's not going well at all for the Pikeville Panthers. After 1 quarter complete, Paintsville on top, 28-6 over Pikeville.
Wayne Supply Company and the Mountain Classic Basketball Tournament have been a pretty strong team over the years. In fact, we've both grown, right along with Eastern Kentucky, through hard work, dedication, and a commitment to service. Whether on the playing field or on the job site, hard work.
Quite a first quarter by the Paintsville Tigers. They score 28 points to Pikeville's 6.
How about the fan involvement over there, Keith? Gee, so these teams really want it.
J.R. Van Hoos just threw what was a superb pass. It didn't connect, but I got to tell you, just for the fact that he was looking in that direction was unbelievable. The big man made a good pass.
You know, Paintsville comes into the tournament, and Whitesburg, Keith, plays their pants off in the first one, 72-69. And of course, Bill Mike Runyon said we looked ugly in that one, but Whitesburg made us look ugly, and then they come up and win with a solid third quarter against Prestonsburg. But this, I believe, the best they've looked.
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, you're got the tales of 2 cities right now. Paintsville didn't look good against Whitesburg. Pikeville looked awesome against Perry Central, and yet you're seeing the change of the guard again tonight. McKenzie underneath the Tackett, trapped.
I tell you, Keith, quick movement away from the ball by the players.
Kyle Adams with another 3-pointer. He has 2 in the ball game. It's 31-6. The Paintsville Tigers putting on a clinic.
6'2" senior, Keith, had some big games. 13 against Whitesburg, 10 last evening against Prestonsburg, and he has 7 in this one.
Doug Powers gets his first 2 points of the ball game.
I've got him with 5, Keith.
Oh, pardon me. We have traveling against Paintsville. You know, the one thing the Pikeville Panthers want to do right now, Jim, is simply get the offense going, get back in some kind of rhythm of their game, and try to cut that lead. We've got a timeout belonging to Paintsville. We'll take it in return. 6:42 to go in the half. 31-8, the Tigers on top. Well, the Pikeville Panthers just looking to get into double digits right now. They're down 31-8.
How about the field goal shooting percentage? 10 of 14, Paintsville 71%, whereas Pikeville manages only 8 field goal opportunities. They hit 2 for 25%, Keith. That tells a big tale right there. The defense for Paintsville simply shutting out the shots on goal for Pikeville.
Kyle Adams is on fire. He has 9 points in the ball game, a 4-point play, a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, and it's 33-8. Paintsville simply can't miss. And their defense is playing quite well also.
Well, when I talked with Bill Mike Runyon earlier in the day, he felt like, he said, you know, this may sound like too much of a cliche, but he felt like the team that played the best defense would win. And right now, Paintsville's defense suffocated.
I was very impressed with Pikeville's defense last night, and honestly, I was wondering what it would look like, the 2-3 against Paintsville tonight. Instead, they came man-to-man, which was somewhat of a surprise.
And three-point percentage, Keith, a key. Paintsville 6 of 6 behind the arc right now. Pikeville manages only one three-point opportunity, 0 of 1.
On that play, Jim, Frankie Johnson would have been wise had he lofted the ball somewhere in the air toward the goal. That would have been a three-point foul shot. Instead, I think he's going to be shooting the bonus. It will be the 1+.
Frankie Johnson had 16 points versus Clay County, 18 last evening versus Perry Central, and gets into the books this evening. Only 3 players have scored for Pikeville so far.
Johnson hits them both, and I can tell you who they are. Doug Powers, Scott Justice, and Frankie Johnson. And you're keeping score, but it's been that obvious. Josh McKenzie with a long 3. Didn't go, but out on Paintsville.
I tell you, Keith, the big guy, McKenzie, gets a nice rotation on the jump shot. Goes up easy, gets good height, and all of the players for Paintsville look smooth shooting the basketball right now. Certainly, Pikeville did that last evening. This evening, unable to do so.
Powers in the lane. Put it on the floor. Missed the basket. We have a foul underneath, and it's going to be against Josh Justice over the back. No, it's going to be on Frankie. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He signaled a 2-3. I think he's signaling it against... Did he say it against Paintsville?
Yeah. I think you're exactly right. Official Frankie Francis will...
It is white.
Okay, let's take a look at it right here. And you see there on the back 23.
Yeah.
McKenzie.
And a little upset. They thought it was on them, Jim, as I did. It's going to be against Josh McKenzie.
Looks like Eric Stepp will go to the line. 6-foot senior. Had 4 points in both of his team's 2 wins.
The entire ball game is being dominated by the rebounding of Paintsville. Josh McKenzie, another 3, won't go.
Important for Pikeville to play tough now in this remaining part of the game because they've got the All-A tournament coming up next week, Keith.
Josh Justice with a good move that time for the 2-pointer. 33-12. It's down to a 21-point lead. And a foul against the Pikeville Panthers underneath. Looks like Eric Stepp is going to be called for it. What do the Panthers have to do right now, Jim, in your mind, to get back into this ball game?
I think they basically have to forget the score is 33-12 and just go and dig like it's 0-0. Just one of those type of situations that got away from you, and it's going to be difficult to catch up to a team as talented as Paintsville. They're playing lights out, and you will certainly dig yourself a deeper hole if you try to score 6 points every trip.
Todd Tackett cans both free throws.
You know, Paintsville's so fundamentally sound.
I agree.
You know, the big guy on the inside, JR, doesn't bring the ball low. Good job there, altering the shot. Didn't slap down at the ball to create the foul.
Tackett looking underneath, knocked away by Powers. It'll belong to Paintsville. The biggest thing they've done, they've controlled the boards. Their outside shooting has been good, and like you say, the free throw shooting and the play inside of Van Hoos. Van Hoos had it stripped away. Pikeville with a run out. Stepp takes it. It is blocked by Van Hoos, but I think the foul is going to be on Kyle Adams.
Not sure, Keith. I believe. Well, they're going to get JR with the foul. He gets the ball, and then perhaps on the way down with the body. Certainly Adams also in there, but the foul will go against JR.
Eric Stepp at the free throw line for 2. Good crowd on hand tonight for the championship game. Quite a semifinal or consolation game earlier tonight.
Good crowd, and certainly Perry Central. Prestonsburg doing a good job battling in that consolation.
Long 3, no good. Josh Justice clears it away. Justice with a good head fake off the glass, got it to go. Your typical running bank shot by Josh Justice, and it's down to a 20-point lead.
28-6 as we entered this quarter. 22-point spread, and Pikeville's chopped it down to 20. Paintsville, a team, Keith, that have played a killer schedule. Then next week in the All-A Championship or All-A Regional, they'll have to take on Allen Central in the opening round.
Todd Tackett with a tremendous defensive play.
See the quickness there, Keith?
Eric Stepp was going to be called for the foul. What looked like an offensive run out for Pikeville. Tackett turned it around and picked up the personal foul. Paintsville is going somewhat cold now from the outside. They haven't reestablished that inside game, and the Panthers trying to chip away at it. Pikeville yet to get a 3-point shot to go in this ball game. Remember last night, there was a line a mile long of 3-pointers. Justice down the middle. Well, it's pretty clear right now what the Pikeville Panthers are going to do. Man-to-man. They're going to give the ball to Scott Justice and tell him to take Van Hoos one-on-one as JR just picked up foul number 2.
And Scott Justice, the 6'5" senior, has 5 points. And certainly Pikeville, one of the things they didn't do so well early in the year was shoot foul shots. And they have had outstanding luck at that during this tournament. A Pikeville team that's played a number of tournaments this year. The AIT, they played Fort Thomas Highlands there. And the Commodore 4 Classic at Tates Creek, they were involved in that.
Justice gets them both. There's 7 points in the ball game. And now the Pikeville Panthers go back to the man-to-man. Lob down for McKenzie. Easy layup.
Good job using the body. And the weak side helped Keith a little late.
Boy, give credit to the Paintsville Tigers. They went away from that 3-point shot and back to the inside game. And as I say that, Scott Justice is just lowering the head and taking it toward the hoop, and it's paying off for him.
Well, I think you can see Pikeville sort of taking to the track right now, Keith, if you sort of use the horse racing term, but maybe a little bit less than what's needed to win the game. However, they can get back into this thing, set themselves up for a good run at the All-A Championships next week.
In the All-A, Pikeville, Paintsville, Allen Central.
Well, Paintsville will be playing Allen Central in the first round.
3 of the top 5 teams in the 15th region.
And Elkhorn City at 14 wins,
Make it
2
4
losses
of the top
there,
5.
right there.
Justice looking underneath for Powers. Put it up, got it. Doug Powers posting against Josh McKenzie. The Panthers have cut it to an 18-point lead, which is an accomplishment considering they were down by 28. Van Hoos called for traveling.
That time I think JR just wanted to sort of do the turnabout is fair play, tried to get in, draw the foul, didn't work out.
Well, this last 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the first half, big for the Pikeville Panthers. Powers, baseline, laid it up and in, and he simply posted McKenzie up. And all of a sudden, Pikeville back within 16 with 2:12 to play.
Crucial 2 minutes once again.
McKenzie, free throw line, no good.
Look at the big guy, keep
back
it alive.
Up, won't go, and battled on the floor. Mims has it. Justice for three, no good. McKenzie off the baseline, left is short. Rebound Van Hoos.
Paintsville doing a good job looking for the open man, Keith.
Kyle Adams hits the three-pointer, and Josh McKenzie picks up the personal foul.
Kyle Adams, Keith, 4 3-pointers. 3 of those coming in this second quarter. 13 points in the game.
Is it me, or does Kyle Adams and Todd Tackett have somewhat of a resemblance to each other?
Yeah, they certainly do.
If you don't look closely, it's hard to tell which guy made the shot. And I'm sure Todd or Kyle Wan is saying, isn't the other so lucky to look like me? Justice with the free throw. I think Scott Justice has played a brave first half.
He certainly has.
Actually been doing some things maybe above and beyond trying to keep this team in the game.
17-point spread, Keith, and the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, Paintsville hit Pikeville with like an 8-0 run that knocked them out. Let's see what happens here.
Van Hoos, drop step, had it blocked from behind, and the foul is going to be called.
Frankie Johnson knew he had to get there in a hurry, Keith, to help out teammate Doug Powers. Just doesn't get there in time, and the foul is called.
JR hit his last 2 free throw attempts. A minute and 17 seconds left to go in the first half of play. JR missed the second one, got the first one. Powers trying to post down in. There's the lob. Doug Powers up and in. All of a sudden, the Panthers have established Powers and Scott Justice back into the ball game. They have yet to connect on a three-pointer in the first half. Tackett down the lane, and he made it look easy. Boy, the Paintsville Tigers, Jim, you chip away, you think you're back in it, and they just turn it up a notch.
And they turn it up a notch on defense. Look at those guys overplaying all the passing lanes, getting the good weak side help, blocking out. And here they go again.
Doug Powers missed the three, and Paintsville will probably look for a last shot. Clock down to 20 seconds now.
After the game against Whitesburg, where they didn't play as well as they would have liked, Coach Runyon said the very next day they put their best practice in of the year. And they sort of parlayed that into 2 strong performances, semifinals and finals.
Adams, shot on the way, no good, but he drew the foul with 1 second remaining on Josh Justice. Well, that's a nail-biter for the Panthers, who play fairly good D, but yet Kyle Adams will step to the free throw line and have a chance to can 2 points with 1 tick of the clock left. And what a first half for Kyle Adams.
Looking for point 14, Keith. I'm not sure he's missed a shot.
4 3-pointers, 2 of 2 from the line, and he did not start the ball game. Give him 15 points in the half, and that will end the first half of play.
How about JR? He wasn't even going to give him a break with 1 second left, Keith.
Well, the Tigers have to be happy. 47-27. They lead by 20 in this, the championship game of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic.
Good start, and against Paintsville, a team like that, it's difficult. You know, Keith Farmer is standing by with one of the Mountain Classic committee members to make this thing possible, Keith. And it's awfully difficult for those fellows. They do a lot of hard work. And let's send it on up to Keith and see what he'll have to say with Arlen Pruitt.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I am with Wayne Supply Marketing Specialist Arlen Pruitt. And I guess I'm representing the WYMT half of this, and you've got the Wayne Supply. Talk about Wayne Supply's involvement in this tournament.
Well, this makes our 10th year for sponsoring this tournament, and it's been 10 wonderful years. And we're just grateful to be a part of this program and giving these scholarships out to these young, deserving kids. And read some of the response back from some of the students that have won these scholarships. It's been great to hear the stories that they've been able to tell.
And I don't see Wayne Supply at any point getting out of this tournament, especially at this point. This has been a fabulous tournament this year.
Oh, I don't know how they could spend their money any wiser than to support children in this area.
Talk about the scholarship funds and all that and what that does for some of the kids that you've seen over the last 10 years.
Well, like I said, you know, some of the letters that you get back from some of these kids that you know definitely they would not be attending college if it weren't for these scholarships. And the great thing about it is that so many of these scholarships are matched by the university or college that they attend.
All right, thanks a lot, and we look forward to your involvement on past the 10th year here of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic. And we're going to go now back down to Jim Frazier and Keith Case-Bolt.
Thank you very much, Keith Farmer. It has been a successful 10 years, Jim. I hope that you and I and everybody are all here for another 10 or 20 years.
Oh, yeah, no question about it, Keith. And, you know, a little special situation here with the fans. The kids have really got.
Coach Thomas was concerned about was 28-6 Paintsville after the first quarter. He thought his kids kind of panicked when Paintsville took away what they had been doing so far, and then they were upset that the defense was collapsing on Van Hoos, but allowing 5 3-pointers in that quarter. Told his kids not to get their heads down. They were successful. They actually outscored the Tigers in the second quarter. They're going to try and take it inside. Some of the Tigers are in foul trouble. They know that they're not going to get it all back at once, but they are going to try and get it back with defense. 10 or 8 points by the fourth quarter.
Okay, quickly on Paintsville, Rich Jones.
Don't give away the perimeter. They want to find some weak side help on Powers on offense. Keep getting the ball to McKenzie and Van Hoos. Make Pikeville foul them. And don't be so anxious with shooting the 3-pointer. If it's there, fine, but if it's not, don't force the issue.
All right, Keith and Jim, back to you for third quarter action.
Well, you guys called it right so far. Doug Powers got the layup, and he got a foul, which should be the third on J.R. Van Hoos. So the Pikeville Panthers open in a big way. If they're going to make a comeback, those are the type plays they've got to have. Josh McKenzie, another 2.
Good look from the outside. 6'7" senior has 10 points. Leading scorer in the game, Kyle Adams, 15 for Paintsville, also 14 for Todd Tackett.
Justice with a good move.
Handle the ball, Keith. I mean, all of these guys, Paintsville fundamentally sound.
That is the big factor. When you've got 5 guys on the floor that can dribble, pass, shoot, and rebound.
You're pretty tough. Of course, the great Rick Barry said, if you can handle the ball, you can play. And I think that's certainly correct. Looks like Paintsville in a 2-3, going to try to force Pikeville to try to shoot it from the outside, but they'll get behind that arc with Short and Tackett.
Powers, shot won't go. Paintsville knocks it out. The one thing Pikeville isn't doing right now, Jim, they did last night. They're not swinging the ball around the arc quick enough. You had Jay Ramsey over there open for the 3-pointer if you got the ball over there quickly.
3-point shooting, first half, 70% for Paintsville, 7 of 10. 0% Pikeville, 0 of 4. And Keith, in this third quarter, they've missed a couple others.
0 of 6 now. Van Hoos looking out to McKenzie. He tossed it away. I think Rich Johnson and Chip hit it on the head when they said Pikeville is taking the 3 at the inopportune time. Powers underneath, got the basket. Van Hoos with 3. He can ill afford to pick up a 4th.
15 points for Doug Powers. He leads Pikeville. Also in double figures, Scott Justice, and then it's Frankie Johnson, Josh Justice with 2 apiece.
J.R. Van Hoos did a good job staying with his own shot that time and got the 2.
8 points for J.R. gives his team the 19-point lead.
Ramsey down to Powers. He was hacked by inside. No call, but Eric Stepp gets the ball and is fouled underneath. And it's going to be on McKenzie, I believe.
Well, that's his fourth. And you'll see here Powers turns to the defense and gets hacked pretty good there. The ball winds up with our Brian Clark 110% award winner, Eric Stepp, and he is fouled. By the way, Keith, he does not know that he has won that award yet, and that will be presented at the conclusion of this championship game.
Well, they gave it 110% on that play to make it 51-34. It's back to a 17-point lead. Jim McKenzie on the bench with 4 fouls. Van Hoos in the game with 3. If you're the Pikeville Panthers, you got to take that ball at Van Hoos the next time down the floor.
You do, and you've got 17 points to make up.
Big
Can't make it up when Mike Short's hitting them from out there, Keith.
You got a lot more than 17. Mike Short with a long 3-pointer. It's a 20-point game.
Now the point guard for this team, Keith, but as the senior, he can step up and hit the shot if you leave him unguarded.
You know, for the Paintsville Tigers, it's almost as if, though, whatever you throw at us, we'll take it and turn it into an advantage. Paintsville going to a 2-3. Good move, trying to protect Van Hoos. Powers gets the layup. Well, the Tigers know with McKenzie out, they'll have to play the 2-3. Van Hoos on the lob underneath, got the easy 2.
He hits double figures with 10. With McKenzie out of the game, you figure they'll look to him a little more. You know, Paintsville really doesn't look to JR, you know, as the only option.
Well, Doug Powers is having a field day right now. McKenzie out. Van Hoos in foul trouble. Powers scored 4 in a row.
The man-to-man defense by Pikeville being picked up here too, Keith. Good.
Van Hoos, beautiful fadeaway jump shot.
Good skills on that one, Keith. You know, you alluded to the fact that perhaps he isn't the 6'10", but he will, I believe, have to play the forward position in college. And they're working on those skills, the ability to move well, dribble the ball, and hit the 15-foot jump shot.
He's only a junior. He may grow. I think he's a solid 6'8", maybe 6'8 and a half. But those are some of the skills he's going to need, that fadeaway jumper. He already handles the ball and shoots the free throw well. Going to have a foul on Paintsville over the back on the rebound. That'll belong to Jason Conley, and we'll get a timeout. 58-38. The lead is 20, right where we were at the half. Paintsville still on top. 58-38. Paintsville on top of the Pikeville Panthers.
Keith, we've got a big congratulations to the Pikeville High School boys and girls varsity cheerleaders as they were named Class A Kentucky State cheerleading champions in a competition today held in Richmond. And how about the spurt ability that they have as they spurt back here to Hindman for the championship game of the Mountain Classic.
Frankie Johnson, 3-pointer, no good. Rebound Stepp, back to Powers. Beautiful pass by Eric Stepp.
How about Eric Stepp, the 110% award guy, and nice job on the weak side, and he dishes off to Powers, and Powers with 10 points. He's the only fellow that's gotten a bucket for Pikeville in this quarter, Keith.
Well, he just picked up a personal foul.
You know, we saw Doug Powers play a big second half against Lincamp, Keith, in football, and Pikeville was almost on the ropes, knocked out of that one. Good look on the inside, JR there, and on the left side, the foul.
It was quite a comeback. I will agree with you there. Van Hoos had it stripped away, and now a traveling against Conley. It'll turn over to the Pikeville Panthers. Jim, I think Dave Thomas knows right now, if you're going to make a move, you've got to make it with McKenzie on the bench and Van Hoos with 3 fouls. This is his opportunity to get back into the ball game, but give credit to Bill Mike Runyon and the Paintsville Tigers. Everybody has stepped up, whether it be Conley, Short, Tackett, Adams, Van Hoos. They have all played their part.
Certainly have, Keith, and see JR trying to release, but of course Paintsville Tigers coached by Bill Mike Runyon, the assistants, David Van Hoos, Bob Van Hoos. Of course, his son, J.R., Mark Baldwin, Bo Belcher, and Bill Fraley. And, of course, Bart Williams helps out Dave Thomas at Pikeville. And, Keith, the coaching staff, awfully tough.
Van Hoos underneath, put back up by Conley. Van Hoos tipped, and Powers brings it away.
Oh, they were playing volleyball in there with it, Keith. Finally, Powers wades in. You wonder if fatigue might play a little factor with Pikeville now. They played Thursday night, Friday night, and now in this one trying to get back into it.
Well, you can't have fatigue when you're playing one of the top-ranked teams in the state.
Once again, we get to that 2-minute mark and change. 16-point spread, and the question now, can Pikeville get it down to around 10 or 12 entering the fourth frame? Good crossover dribble that time by Tackett. You don't see that move a lot, and good move.
That just tells you the speed of Tackett when you're playing a man-to-man. At 6'2", he's hard to handle.
Keith, I've got some names for you here, 4 names. Willard Hall, Creva Adams, Carter Beverly, and Wayne Jacobs. And these people have been doing, I think, the hardest job at the Mountain Classic. Now, what do you think they may have been doing?
I don't know, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
They were the people that were parking cars outside.
They
it's
have.
been so cold. And they're from the Board of Education here in Knott County. And we want to say thanks a whole big bunch to those people.
Indeed, and quite a crowd. Bill Mike Runyon making a move right now that, Jim, you got to believe is fantastic. He gives J.R. a breather with 2 minutes left in the third. Van Hoos gave him some quality time without picking up the 4th foul. He's got him on the bench with McKenzie. He can come back in the 4th quarter with both of them if Pikeville should make a run in the last 2 minutes. Short for a 3, no good. Mims with the rebound. He has been quiet offensively tonight.
Let's see if they can get the ball. They have a foul away from the ball. I believe that will go against Mark Grimm, 6'4" junior, as he and Justice battling on the inside.
Only the 4th team foul, so Pikeville will toss it in under their own basket. Justice puts it in bounds to Frankie Johnson. Paintsville back into that 2-3. McKenzie and Van Hoos both on the bench. Frankie Johnson for 3. And he didn't catch anything that time.
Well, that would have been their first 3-point basket of the game, and that was certainly one they needed. Got the good look, just didn't drop.
Tackett couldn't hold on to it. Out of bounds. It'll belong to the Pikeville Panthers. And I know the Pikeville fans are thinking this is the opportunity. You got to get it down to 10 or 12 if you're going to go into that 4th quarter. It's at 16 with 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining here in the 3rd.
How about the job Von Allen? You see him giving the ball there. And he runs up court. Frankie Francis. You know, those guys doing the good job keeping up with this action, Keith. You got to run back and forth. And Frankie with the call down low. I'm glad the broadcasters don't have to run back and forth like the officials do.
I got to tell you, Jimmy, it's hard to stay in the condition I'm in, but I work at it. I really do. Bad inbounds pass. Pikeville turns it over. Panthers seem to be on dead legs right now. They've tried just about everything, but nothing has put them back into this game.
Paintsville handles the ball so well, each player difficult to put full court pressure on them, Keith, because they could just blow you right out of here.
Right now, Bill Mike Runyon, with the unit he has on the floor, is simply hoping they'll hold the lead. They don't have to increase it if they just keep it where it's at, and Todd Tackett is called for palming the basketball. If you're in the NBA, that's no violation. Neither is traveling in the NBA.
Well, you see the kids go sailing there, battling for the basketball. Neither team scored here about the last minute and a half, Keith, and that has been the defensive effort Pikeville wanted, but they just can't get it done offensively.
Boy, another turnover against the Panthers. Adams, easy lay-in. Beautiful run out by the Paintsville Tigers. That's the first time I've seen a call made on carrying the basketball, and I couldn't tell you when. Doug Powers with the basket, and he'll draw the foul.
12 points for him in the quarter, 23 in the game. Pikeville, a team that lost 72-69 in the finals of their own tournament to Allen Central. Elkhorn City beat them by 2. They had Wayne County down. Then the Cardinals came roaring back to win by 4. Also Fleming County beat them. Lake Kelly School.
Scott Justice got the rebound, put it back up and in, so it's a 4-point play for the Panthers. They've got the lead down to 14 with 25 seconds to go. Paintsville will look for a last-second shot.
Big swing here, Keith. If there's a Paintsville basket back up to 16, it knocks Pikeville out.
Big steal by Powers. 12 seconds.
If they could convert, they're back to 12.
Down in the corner, Smallwood looking down. Justice, he's got the layup with 3 seconds left. Well, the Pikeville Panthers also knocked it out of bounds. They'll get the ball back with 1 second remaining in the quarter.
Down to 12. We've got a game, Keith.
This is as close as it has been since the first opening moments of the quarter. First quarter I'm talking about. Jay Ramsey for 3, no good. At the end of 3 quarters complete, the Panthers took advantage of the foul trouble for Paintsville. They've got it back to 12, 60, 48. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter after this timeout. J.R. Van Hoos and Josh McKenzie on the bench. The Pikeville Panthers have cut the lead down to 12. That's the good news for the Panthers. However, Van Hoos back into the game. Jim, Bill Mike Runyon hasn't put Josh McKenzie back in. He's got 4 fouls.
How about this statistic? At the 3:51 mark of the third quarter, the score was 58-38. Paintsville manages only 2 points the last 3:51 of the quarter, while Pikeville puts up a 10 spot. So Pikeville got a 10-2 run working as they've narrowed the gap down to 12.
Pikeville Panthers picking up the defense. Doug Powers picking up the foul.
And picking up the offensive glass, J.R. Van Hoos, Keith, as he went right to the glass, kept the ball above his head, just like the fella sitting next to you, Todd May, always did. When he got the pass from you.
He never got any from me. Can I tell you something? In J.R.'s credit, he has played smart with 3 personal fouls. He's really watched what he has done. He's picked his moments. He's just played a heads-up game, not picking up that 4th personal foul.
And Keith, how about some of the statistics passed along to us by our top man, Steve Sproles? Paintsville only 1 of 2 behind the arc that time for 50%. They still managed 6 of 13 from the field, 46%. Pikeville still on the schneid from 3-point land, 0 of 5. But field goal shooting percentage improves as they go inside, 9 of 16 for 56%.
Beautiful pass from Tackett down to Van Hoos. It did not go, and the Pikeville Panthers will bring it the other way.
Can they get it inside double digits? I tell you, Ramsey is open behind the arc, and they didn't quite get it to him that time.
Justice missed it. Got his own rebound. Back up, no good. Rebound, Todd Tackett.
Coach Dave Thomas calls Josh Justice the Iron Man of this team. Does the dirty work, the tough jobs, and just couldn't convert that time.
Kyle Adams for 3. He has 5. They give him a 2-pointer. Evidently, his foot was on the line, but Adams has had a wonderful ball game. Justice down the lane, no good, and Scott Justice has committed the foul. Well, here come the Paintsville Tigers again for you. Kyle Adams stepping up and hitting a big outside shot. Every time that Paintsville has been pushed or threatened, the Tigers have turned around and taken advantage of it.
Fans getting into this one, Keith. We've got 1 quarter to play for the championship of the Mountain Classic, and it's always been a Tiger that we've had in our tank.
Indeed.
And perhaps so again this year.
Good to see Bobby Keith and Clay County back in the tournament this year.
Wasn't it, though? And, of course, Bobby Keith notorious for superstitions, and the one thing that I have noticed,
he didn't wear the shirt.
Right, it's out. He goes for the short sleeve shirt now, and I haven't talked with him about it, but I know that that's the same type situation. If he loses, I'm pretty sure he throws that thing away.
Well, I noticed as soon as you said that, he didn't have the shirt he normally wears. J.R. Van Hoos, no superstitions. He is just playing great. Doug Powers with a good double pump.
Well, the first couple of trips down the court in this quarter, they didn't get Powers a touch, Keith. And certainly I think he's where the bread and butter is right now, because Van Hoos can't quite go at him the way he would like to.
Todd Tackett down the lane. Offensive foul has been called, and Bill Mike Runyon is furious over it. You get a chance to look at it at home. Todd Tackett made the strong move down the middle, and watch Scott Justice step up. He draws the foul, and Tackett picks up his third personal.
Toughest call in basketball, Keith, and I think Justice got there. And Tackett sort of leaning in an angle towards the basket rather than going straight down the alley.
It is so hard to believe the Pikeville Panthers do not have a three-pointer. And now a traveling call against Scott Justice. It is almost as if, though now Paintsville sagging back off the three, Jim, they're almost daring Pikeville to take that shot.
Well, after you've had the rhythm, the momentum of the three-point taken away from you, I think you kind of probably do the wrong thing by trying to fire them up from way outside.
Well, Todd Tackett just took about a 26-footer at that time. A little bit off the mark. Out front, Mims had the three, didn't take it. Down the lane, had it stripped. Even though Pikeville has not hit a three-pointer, they are going to have to hit one if they're going to get back in it. And look at Mims. As I say it, he steps up and hits a three. We'll get a timeout from Paintsville with 5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. 64-53, Pikeville back within 11.
Wayne Supply Company and the Mountain Classic basketball tournament have been a pretty strong team over the years. In fact, we've both grown, right along with Eastern Kentucky, through hard work, dedication, and a commitment to service. Whether on the playing field or on the job site, hard work breeds confidence. And in Eastern Kentucky, Wayne's a
wonderful game of golf. Sooner or later, one of those putts must fall. For the Pikeville Panthers, one of those three-pointers had to fall, and John Mims got it to go down. It is an 11-point lead, 64-53, the closest the Pikeville Panthers have been since the 2-minute mark, and I mean 2 minutes into the first quarter of play. McKenzie posting on Powers. Turnaround shot is good. Josh McKenzie with a major league play.
Keith, I tell you, these kids are so well schooled. How about the head and shoulder fake? He looked like Charles Barkley on the move there on the corner. There's the big guy swatting it away. Is the inside strength of Paintsville showing here these last couple of trips.
Doug Powers on McKenzie, and Powers is just fouled out of the game. I was going to make the point. Give credit to Paintsville. They're in return doing to Pikeville what the Panthers were trying to do to McKenzie and to Van Hoos. They put in Josh McKenzie, fresh in the game, went straight after Doug Powers.
Keith, interesting point. I was talking with Bill Mike Runyon about the great group that he had 10 years ago. Joey Couch, John Pelfrey, Minix, Adkins. And I asked him how they compared with this group. And he said, well, that team had great team chemistry, and this team is just now finding that type of chemistry. Also, that team had to work hard to dig the program out. Paintsville had kind of fallen on hard times, whereas this group just has to maintain that. Now, he talked about two things that are the common characteristics. Both groups were very coachable, and both groups have excellent students as well, so they get it done in the classroom and on the court.
Justice missed the left hand, put it back up and in.
As a matter of fact, Keith, J.R. Van Hoos ranks 10th in his class, and Todd Tackett ranks 9th in the junior class at Paintsville.
There's a big foul on Scott Justice going for the steal at 3:53. The Panthers down by 11. They must play the kamikaze-type defense. Full court pressure, anything they can do to try to get back in it. And you mentioned Paintsville just maintaining. Right now, that's what they're trying to do.
I believe that's Griner into the action for Paintsville, Keith. And looks like someone must have stepped into the...
I think we had a lane violation,
yeah.
Jim.
Tell you, this thing started out 10-1 in Paintsville's favor, Keith, and they really haven't looked back.
Justice with the hook shot. That is the first time it has been under a 10-point lead in the ball game. Pikeville looking like a different team, Jim. They were a little bit passive in their defense and their offense in the first half. However, the Panthers right now on a run. Todd Tackett working baseline, and he's called for an offensive foul. We'll get a timeout. 3 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the ball game. The Pikeville Panthers have it down to 9, 66-57.
And going sailing onto the floor, Eric Stepp and Keith. I think we've given the 110% award to the right fella.
Absolutely. 3 minutes and 26 seconds left. Doug Powers is out of the game. He is fouled out. Todd Tackett has picked up his fourth. Josh McKenzie has 4. J.R. Van Hoos still only 3.
Got a good pick action.
Jay Ramsey hits a three-pointer. Well, now, Jim Frazier, we have a ball game.
It's the Mountain Classic, and somehow the teams rise to a different level. You know, we've gotten a little spoiled, Keith, in that in the 10 years of playing this tournament, we see the teams beginning to play one another in the mountain regions moving around. But 10 years ago, it wasn't the case. And it was a special thing to see Harlan play Prestonsburg and to see Paintsville play Clay County. We've gotten a little bit away from that as the teams play one another so much now. But this is a special environment, a special atmosphere, and it's something that we certainly feel privileged to be a part of.
Tackett missed the free throw. The foul, however, or is it out of bounds?
I think he's shooting 2.
No.
Nope, let's see.
It's going to be out of bounds, which was looked like it might have been a foul against Josh McKenzie, so a bad break for the Paintsville Tigers that time.
See about the inside defense as Justice and Van Hoos go battling inside. Look what I found.
There's a good break for the Paintsville Tigers. That pass a little bit too high even for the big man Van Hoos.
Well, sometimes you'd rather be lucky is good, and to win a title, you've got to have some luck.
Scott Justice, good move off the baseline, and Van Hoos made the good block.
The big guy on the inside, and Rick Pitino came to watch some practice.
J.R. Van Hoos, to have 3 personal fouls, has played beautifully. There's McKenzie, and look at the putback by Todd Tackett.
That's his first bucket of the second half. 16 points, and he comes sailing from the offside, the weak side, to get the bucket. Another
block shot by Van Hoos. Paintsville just turning away the Panthers. Tackett with the reverse, couldn't get it.
Van Hoos has 58 blocks on the year, Keith, coming into this tournament, and no bigger 2 blocks than the last couple of trips down the court.
Frankie Johnson for 3, no good. Rebound, Justice. Leans in, had it blocked by Van Hoos. Put it back up and in. J.R. Van Hoos with 3 blocks in the last 3 offensive possessions for the Pikeville Panthers.
Look at the crowd, Keith. They are into it. That's the Pikeville faithful closest to you, the Paintsville people across the way in the blue and white. And what action we've seen as Paintsville led this with 28-6 at the end of the first quarter. As a matter of fact, 10-1 at the first of the game. 47-27, they led it at the half. 60-48, they began the third quarter. And now we are arrested at 70-62, 146 to play. And Keith, if you're Dave Thomas right now, I guess you've got to kind of put the game plan on trying to make some quick fouls.
I got to tell you something, Jim. This ball game is good for both teams. One for Pikeville. They have showed heart in getting back in it. Paintsville, it's good for them to get a big lead and then also try to hold on to it. How about a hot play of the night? You want to see one? We've got one. Look at this. Van Hoos underneath, McKenzie missed, and Tackett out of nowhere. The Big Sandy heating and cooling on a cold night with a hot play of the night. It was hot, all right. Todd Tackett, I thought he was going to put down the dunk. If he had him, the roof would have came off the gym.
Full court pressure here. Good
Tackett
job.
down to Van Hoos. There's the dunk. I will tell everybody in the truck to ring up that hot play of the night. We might have changed our minds.
16 points for JR.
Justice for three. Frankie Johnson for three. Got it. Pikeville still hanging around. They'll call another timeout with 1:20 left. Paintsville breaking the press beautifully. JR gets the dunk, and the Panthers hit the three at the other end. They've got 3 3-pointers in the game. Jim, all 3 coming in the last 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Just magnificent high school action. You see across the way there the WYMT TV banner, and now we go inside the huddle with Coach Dave Thomas. You see the 7-point spread, 1:20 to play, and his team has come back from the dead in this one, Keith.
You know, if you're going to win a state tournament, a regional tournament, a Class All-A tournament, district, whatever it is, the experience of playing in a tournament like the Mountain Classic is invaluable, because when you play in front of a crowd, the TV cameras, and there's the prestige that's involved, I think it prepares you on down the road for anything that you'll have coming up.
I think so, and you know, we talk about the fact that the teams rise up and play at a different level. I mean, Paintsville came in here maybe not expecting a tough test from Whitesburg, and they almost didn't make it past the first round. See the 223s battle one another. Really impressed with McKenzie, Keith. When we did our opening game of the year, Paintsville Perry Central, he didn't score a bucket until the fourth quarter, until his team really needed him. So he's not the kind of guy to sort of mix up that chemistry by looking at the rim of the basket. You know, he's a senior. A lot of the other fellas juniors, right. And of course he'll be the guy to sort of graduate, college potential there, but really gets it done doing a lot of things well.
It's the first free throw. Pikeville making a substitution. They took Scott Justice out of the game. They have 5 guards in the game, and I'll guarantee you whatever shot they take will be a 3. Like I said, it'll be a 2-pointer off the baseline.
Right.
Adams tried to save it for Tackett. McKenzie for Tackett. Tackett finally comes up with it, and Josh McKenzie, no good. Look at Kyle Adams. I got to tell you, if you picked an MVP, I think Kyle Adams has played one of the biggest games for the Tigers.
Certainly so, Keith, and so many 3-point baskets as well as the offside, the weak point, the weak side baskets.
Well, the big thing is, when do you come with a guy off the bench that gets you 22 points in a ball game?
Well, one of the strengths for Paintsville this year, they have a little more depth perhaps they've had in the past.
I think Paintsville tried Kyle Adams at point guard. They brought in Short at the point, so he's actually coming in and playing the swing. Either the 2 or the 3. They just freed him up and has showed his offensive abilities. Short. Second free throw is good. 78-65. 45 seconds left. Scott Justice going for the dunk. No good. Paintsville just looking to control the ball, and Justice has committed the foul. And Paintsville is going to get some new faces into the ball game. In fact, a whole new starting 5 with 35 seconds left. You've got to applaud the move by Paintsville, Bill Mike Runyon. Everybody getting to play in the championship game of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic.
Well, excuse me, Keith, they've got a 6-game winning streak in this mountain class.
Didn't make it back for a return last year, but here this year, and they'll keep the streak alive. Only a Tiger team, Clay County and Paintsville, the only 2 winners of this tournament.
Keith, certainly the beneficiaries of the great crowd involvement and the excellent play, the people that came away with the scholarships.
Jay Ramsey shot a long 3. Frankie Johnson with the putback.
Academics and athletics coexisting here in the mountains. And how about a quick rundown of the scholarship recipients? Gina Lyford, North Laurel. Emily Birchall, Clay County. Brian Garland, Bell County. Jamin Kelly, Middlesboro. Gayleen Worley, Whitley County. Brian Baker, Letcher County. Robbie Fisher, Knott Central. Dina Fugit, Perry Central. Richard Hunley, Leslie County. In the 15th region, Brandy Arnick. Magoffin County, Jessica Frazier, South Florida. Sarah Smith, Shelby Valley. Robert Wells, Johnson Central. A lot of folks getting these scholarships. Indeed. And the Ralph Gabbard Memorial Broadcasting Communication Scholarship went to Dina Tackett from Shelby Valley.
Now, this tournament's something that Wayne Supply is proud of, along with our sponsors, definitely WYMT. It's given so much money to academics and at the same time displayed so much in athletics.
When we hand out the awards here, Keith, there'll be $250,000 plus generated by this tournament in 10 years for academics and athletics.
I got to tell you, David Castle made one of the prettiest passes probably of the whole tournament. It will end in the end. The Paintsville Tigers claim the championship. 84-69, the final score. It's a 15-point win as Paintsville, again, the champs of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic. Will take a timeout and return to Knott County Central High School. For the Paintsville Tigers winning tonight, they are the champions of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Basketball Tournament over the Pikeville Panthers. You can see on our floor the Paintsville Tigers getting ready to cut down the net, and we have a table absolutely loaded down with some of the most beautiful trophies I have ever seen. There's a good shot of some of the hardware they're going to take home tonight, and you can hear the crowd still cheering. And speaking of cheering, the 1997 champions of the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Championship, it's going to go to the Pikeville Panther cheerleaders tonight. That award will be given, and you can bet they will be happy.
Well, Keith, you see the guys right there cutting down the nets, and I don't believe that we've got something sharp enough for the fellas. But what an effort, of course, for Paintsville as they come away with the championship. And just one of those kinds of things there. As you see J.R. Van Hoos, he's about as good as they get in the mountains.
I think we're about ready with some of the presentation for the awards. And I believe our own Keith Farmer is going to be on the floor and handling some of those presentations. Good crowd staying here tonight to watch and see who takes away all of the trophies. Right now, let's go down courtside with Sports Director of WYMT, Keith Farmer.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a great week of basketball here at the WYMT Mountain Basketball Classic. We're going to take the time now to present some of the team trophies that are going on this week. We'll start out with our third place trophy. It's being presented by Tommy Hall of the Classic Committee, and that goes to Perry County Central.
Stand out here.
Congratulations to the Commodores. Now our second place trophy is being presented by Vesper Singleton. He is also of the Classic Committee, and it goes to the Pikeville Panthers. talk to Coach Runyon. And our first place and travel trophy is presented jointly by Ernestine Cornett, the general manager of WYMT, and Arlen Pruitt of Wayne Supply, and it goes to the Paintsville Tigers.
Yeah, but you're on that thing.
Yeah, I know.
What do you want to interview me for?
I'm going to be talking to all these people. Hell, those people don't like me. Coach Runyon, this is the second year in a row that you've won this, or not second year in a row, but the second time. You won it in 1995. Not quite to where they can call it the Paintsville Invitational like they did with Clay County, but you all are the only two teams that have now won it.
Well, we're just happy that you all invited us back up here this year. I know that we had to take a one-year departure last year, but we're just happy to be back up here playing in it again. It's a real nice tournament.
Coach, a great job done by the Pikeville Panthers, and there's a chance next week, if you both win your first game, you could be playing again next Friday in the All-A.
They got a fine basketball team, and they're well coached, and I look for them to be in the thick of things come March.
Coach, you got to feel good about how your team's playing right now.
Yeah, I feel real good about how we're playing right now. You know, hopefully we can keep it up.
All right, appreciate it. Congratulations, Coach. All right, we're moving now to our cheerleading trophies, and our second place cheerleading trophy being presented by Jim Boggs, General Sales Manager of WYMT, and it goes to Perry County Central. And now for our first place cheerleading trophy being presented by Paul Hughes of the Classic Committee, and it goes to Pikeville. Now for our sportsmanship trophy, and it is being presented by Chip Tillett of WYMT, and our sportsmanship trophy goes to Barberville. And Chip Tillett will make sure that Barberville gets a hold of that trophy. And now for our most valuable player trophy being presented by John Broom of the Classic Committee. And the most valuable player of the 10th annual WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic goes to Josh McKenzie of Paintsville High School. One more award that we would like to hand out. It is a brand new award that we have, the 110% award, and it is being named after a person close to us, Brian Clark, who we only worked with for a couple of days before he was tragically taken away from us in a car accident. But we realized in those 2 days his dedication to his work and to his family and to his faith, and we are handing that out this year to Pikeville's Eric Stepp. We turn things over to Tommy Hall of the Classic Committee as he will take you through the rest of the individual awards.
Well, Jim Frazier, a lot of hardware given away. Paintsville getting a lot, Pikeville getting a lot, and deservingly so. We're going to take a timeout and come back with more from Knott County Central, the WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic, the Paintsville Tigers, the champs, 84-69. 10 years. Crowd-wise, we thank everyone that turned out for this tournament, huge crowds, and everyone that tuned in you got to be pleased with the 10th annual WYMT Wayne Supply Mountain Classic.
On all aspects, Keith, the play on the court, the sportsmanship that was shown by all the teams that took part, and just one of the best we've ever had, and privileged to be a part of it.
Indeed. My friend, good to be back with you after a couple of weeks off. We look to a lot more this year, including the championships of high school with the state and, of course, the University of Kentucky and more. And by all means, Jim and I hope to be back here again next year for the 11th annual.
Ah, yes. Why not? Lucky 11 for us.
The final score tonight, the Paintsville Tigers, they win the championship over the Pikeville Panthers 84-69. On behalf of WYMT and Wayne Supply, all of our sponsors, and Jim Frazier, I'm Keith Casebolt. Good night, everyone, from Knott County Central High School.
The 1997 WYMT